Well, the big news that happened earlier today was the massive 9-player deal that involved Phaneuf heading to the Ottawa Senators in exchange. A couple of guys going the other way, including a second-round draft pick, Jarrett Cowan being one of those. 3 forwards mixed in with Milan Mihalik as well as Greening thrown in. But you look at all the players that have kind of mixed and matched. The biggest name, of course, is Phaneuf. And the amount of money this guy's due for the next 5 seasons at $7 million per. When you look at that and look what the Ottawa Senators are trying to do, a team that is not quite there to make the playoffs, they're only 4 points out, but a team that is not bad enough to go for first overall pick, they're in that limbo stage. Does this move make sense to them? Or does this move make sense to you, Al?
Yeah, I think if they're trying to get into the playoffs, it makes sense from that perspective for Ottawa to try and find somebody like a D-man to do it. Definitely an area they need a little bit of help in. But whether it's going to get him there, I don't know if he's the right guy to get him there. But it's an easy one to get, and it's going to cost him a ton of money. It's going to hurt him on the cap side as well eventually, right? So, I don't agree with it, but hey. I don't get paid to make those decisions. So
it sounds like where Phaneuf is going to be playing is that second line pairing. And it looks like he will be there because obviously with the first one it's Methot and Carlson, so that's taken care of. So you have a second line guy, 3-4 guy, making $7 million per season. That just seems way too excessive. That's how I see it. Where do you see this?
Well, that's why the
Andrew?
Leafs traded him too. He was playing second line with the Leafs as well. Phaneuf's problems are just it's Toronto again. It's and it is. If you actually look at his stats and really look at him, he's comparable to some of the top defensemen in the league. He plays for a media overhyped team, and he's playing against the best players in the NHL every single night. I think he's playing up against Crosby, Ovechkin, Stamkos. Like, how many times a year is he going up against these great players, having to play first line and having pretty much no defensive partner until Morgan Riley comes around? So I think by going to Ottawa, it's like every player. You go away from Toronto, you can have a second chance. He's a salvageable player. And it's sour saying about a $7 million a salvageable player, but he is. He's capable of being a shutdown defenseman if he doesn't have an offensive defenseman if you give him the right circumstances in which to play in.
Then who gets the better end of this deal, guys?
Toronto for sure.
Oh, Toronto.
Seems
Absolutely.
Toronto hands down.
Absolutely, yeah. They freed up a ton of cap space. And
second round pick.
Yeah.
And you got Cowan, who they were going to buy out anyway, but now under Babcock, you think he could probably turn him around. And if not, let him go. It's not a big loss.
Contracts aren't going to be re-upped anyways. So if he's gone, he's gone. And of course, they're in the Austin Matthews sweepstakes, right near the bottom with both Columbus and Edmonton. So
Edmonton has that one. It's okay.
Hey, well, knock on some wood. It's too many draft parties happened in Edmonton. All right, let's go back to the NFL again. This time, we'll talk about another player that is looking at retirement, and it seems like Marshawn Lynch is that man. It seemed very cryptic in his message as he posted a Facebook or Twitter picture of his cleats, green cleats, thrown up hanging off a telephone wire. So to me, obviously he's not passing away, but I think he's hanging up those cleats in essence. And do you see this, I guess, as a 9-year guy, in terms of what he's done, he's been fantastic, but he does have an attitude issue. You're the Seahawks. Do you like this move in getting rid of Marshawn Lynch? No.
I don't know. Is any press good press, I guess, is the question, because whenever he's doing something, he's in the news media, Seattle's in there. Like, he's got some attitude, but it hasn't been, criminal in nature technically. He's a marketing tool, right? He's, why wouldn't he just announce I'm retiring instead of putting his little cleats on the wire? Of course he wants the media to pick it up and go, oh, right during Super Bowl, we're going to, talk about, why is he, why is this retiring? What is it? So the direction goes away from the Super Bowl to Marshawn Lynch. Once again, the guy should go into marketing when he's done. Like, that's what he should be doing.
And the crazy thing is, he's still young. He's only 29.
But will he come back? Like, so he retires this year, he'll come back next year, right? And right?
So. He might not, but I don't know. He told people within the office of Seattle that he was done, the front office. Then there were several players. Richard Sherman came out saying, it was a pleasure playing with probably one of the best running backs in the game, in Marshawn Lynch. You also had congratulatory messages sent from Russell Wilson to Marshawn Lynch. He's done. But if you're Seattle, you got to be happy that it's done, because running backs are dispensable, and he
Good running backs are not.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
But
no,
he,
I'm calling you on a lie.
No, but he for his injuries that he's had recently, and the backs that they picked up that they have on the team now, they seem that they could replace. They've given the same production that he has over the last 2 seasons.
I think, yeah, you can replace a running back with a better star running back. I wouldn't call Fred Jackson and Thomas Rawls the next coming of Marshawn
Jackson
Lynch.
not necessarily, but Rawls.
Rawls is good. I picked him up and he did nothing for me in fantasy. Great. Every week I benched him. He did great. No, but
bitterness
Rawls,
there, is
Yeah, probably.
just a tad. Rawls is like he could be the next type, but as far as we have right now, what you're losing is a Pro Bowl caliber player that is capable of running through everybody, and that's what we know about Marshawn Lynch. He's that type of player. He's the, give him the ball, he'll get you 70 yards just out of nothing, and that's what they're going to miss of a player like that.
Very quickly, Ben Scrivens saying some harsh words about his former team, wanting to beat them so badly that they ended up winning 5-1. He followed it up with another win, although a little more shakier against Carolina. But nevertheless, Montreal seems to have found their goalie. Ben Scrivens seems to be happy that he beat his old team. But a lot of people in Edmonton are saying, oh, you just sound so bitter like an ex-girlfriend. Do you buy it? I think he has every right to be bitter in terms of the way they treated him. But tell me if I'm wrong. Andrew.
Well, the whole thing where he got sent down to the minors and then he's a backup in the minors, but hey, you're a goalie and you should kind of know this is the area you play in. There's only 2 positions on every team, and then the minors is 2 positions. So if you don't win out, and you're going to play the hot goalie, that's how the NHL, that's how the AHL, that's how every hockey works. So I don't know. If I'm a goalie who's on the fringe, I think I'd get my visa in order first before I consider about where I'm doing, especially in Edmonton. Like, you don't know what's going on with them. Every week they're changing goalies. So,
but with his comments that he said to the interviews during the post game, do you feel that he is vindicated in some way, shape, or form? He didn't really like them. He said he said he wanted to beat them badly, but some people misconstrue that as he's just a whiner and he got his wish and now he's somewhere else and he's a lot better.
Yeah, I don't think he disliked being in Edmonton. I don't think he disliked the players he played with. I think it's just the way that he was sort of treated, and then once again, the whole visa issue in his mind was the reason why he didn't get to be a starter down there. But I think it's just the treatment of him. Other than that, as far as the organization goes, people in the organization, it's just he's okay with them. But I get it. I'd be bitter too if I was basically treated like that, moved down, and yeah, I'm supposed to earn a spot, but.
30 seconds to go, guys. Wayne Simmonds not suspended for a sucker punch to Ryan McDonough, the captain of the New York Rangers. McDonough ended up getting a concussion, is going to be out for some time. Alain Vigneault, the coach of the Rangers, was adamant and said, you know what, if this was Crosby, it would have been completely different. And this is a complete joke that Simmonds did not get anything. And really, the only reason why he got that misconduct in the game and was left was because of his stick swinging at the official outside. And even then, he didn't get suspended for that. Do you feel that Alain Vigneault was right to complain about the NHL not suspending Simmonds for either the sucker punch or the little tap, so to speak, to the linesman?
I think when you add up everything, he probably should have been suspended. The sucker punch, I actually don't have a problem with, because that's hockey, and you see it all the time. And it's like, where do you draw the line between finally suspending a guy or not suspending a guy for a sucker punch? It happens every scrum you look at him. It actually kind of shows, though, you can punch a guy with your glove on and give him a concussion. And we want to keep fighting in the game.
And lastly?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he should be suspended. Like, it was a punch. He had his glove on. It wasn't, like it was in the heat of the battle.
You're going with no suspension?
No suspension.
Okay.
Let him play.
We're going to have to leave it at that. We're going to take a commercial break and return with Over Under next.